Okay, you guys made the comment that within the realms of liberty that the factions are unavoidable. Within this, you also stated that republics have an advantage over direct democracies because it will defray the factions out. Do you absolutely believe that, or is it still possible that factions can happen within a republic, or is the advantage of republic absolute?
No, I feel like there's always going to be possibilities of factions. Like we said, that it's just factions start when somebody has a common passion or interest of others, and there's always going to be people who own property versus own none, and that's all. Like, just that factor will start combining factions altogether, or will start making factions. And so I feel like a republic form of government, like he says, can help control the effects of factionalism, but it can't completely get rid of it.
Okay. Can you give me an example of a situation or an idea that might drive a passion that people might coalesce around?
Well, in the Federalist 10, James Madison really focuses on the owning property versus not owning property. He believes, and also like differing amounts of wealth. So he feels like the people that have more wealth or have around the same amount of wealth are going to always kind of gravitate towards each other to form these factions, versus people in the lower class are going to kind of go towards each other too.
Okay. So what would be the properly constructed form of republic that you would be talking about? Maybe let me restate the question. What elements in our republic would he have been considering to reduce factionalism? Would separation of powers fall under that?
Yes, because he believes that if it's more separated by state instead of country, then it's easier to control. Like, if it's a state controlling its own people, it's easier to avoid factions because it's not so, there's not so many open opinions and like,
Okay. Okay, sorry, I'm just trying to go through my notes here. Okay, you also stated that liberty is to faction as air is to fire. Why did Madison make that analogy?
He made that analogy because factions will make basically freedom. They can restrict people's freedom, and so air helps fire.
So I like to restate about that one. Liberty, like, it helps, like, air to a fire helps, like, inflame it, make it bigger. Liberty does the same things to factions. Liberty will make factions bigger and, like, give them more freedom to grow and expand, like,
Okay.
with fire.
All right, so let's take a break. Go ahead and keep this rolling. Give him a big hand. Okay. Just a couple things. Your presentation, you're 325, so a little bit longer. You made a couple points where that you made the air is to fire twice, so a little bit of redundancy. You brought it up early on, then you came back around. Try to just go with that because it's an outstanding point. But if you're going to do it again, maybe do it as your closing argument. Just say point A, B, C. This is why we used, or this is why Madison said it is to liberty as there is to fire. Now, some great places you guys could go. Think in terms of First Amendment. what is going to be the situation that will drive factions there? Well, you might have people that are pure freedom of speech advocates, people that are advocates of assembly. And to me, the whole situation with freedom of religion versus assembly, there's a lot of similarities in there because it's who we're associating with and things like that. Second Amendment rights. There are a lot of people who may have zero in common other than the fact that they are pro-firearm and things like that. And that's not a right or wrong issue. That's great that that's what they believe, but that's going to be a commonality that they may be able to set aside a lot of differences because of that commonality that they're going to work together on. Now, the big thing is, like I said, just work on some of the questions and things like that, so it's not one or two answering, but the whole group is participating. But the core of your presentation is outstanding. It's just a little bit of rework to get to that kind of sweet spot, that 340, 345. But like I said, the liberty is factions, is there, is to fight. I think that's an outstanding place to be. But when you go to the second point, use it as a close, as stated before, or something like that. But overall, a great job. Give them a big hand, guys.